Hi, I'm Rashad Bayramov, communication trainer and coach, and this is my effective communication series where I share with you tips and advice on how to influence people in various situations. Today, I want to talk to you about a good structure for your speech. Now, Dale Carnegie famously said, tell the audience what you're going to say it, and then tell them what you've just said. Now, this is probably one of the most famous expressions or sentences that actually covers the entire idea, the entire outline of any speech. Introduction, the main part, the conclusion. What can actually a speaker do to make all these three parts, the introduction, the main part, and the conclusion, more interesting? Now, let's start from the introduction. Introduction is by far the most important part of your speech. Frankly, if you do not start your speech powerfully, if you don't grab the attention of the audience from the first seconds, from the first words you utter, chances are the audience will very soon lose interest in you. So how can you start your speech powerfully? How can you introduce your topic? So there are three ways you can do it. Number one, you can start with a question. Number two, you can start with a quote. And number three, you can start with a story. All three elements are fantastic beginnings for your speech. A question generates the right frame of mind. If you ask a question in the beginning, people immediately tune into your topic. They start thinking about your question, of the answer to your question. A quote makes the key idea stick in a very fashionable, sort of sleek, nice manner, just like the one that I used from Dale Carnegie to illustrate the importance of an outline for a speech. Stories, well, stories are always a great way to start your speech because they, in one sort of holistic way, they present the key argument or the key message of your speech. A question, a quote, or a story. It's your choice. Once you've done that introduction, you need to actually tell the audience the key topic, usually and best way in one sentence, what you are going to talk about. So make an introduction, a proper introduction into your speech, into your topic itself. Then give them a reason to listen to you. Why should the audience listen to you? Why they should believe you? Why should they spend their time with you? Give them a couple of reasons to stay in their seats, to remain seated and keep listening. So that would cover for me key elements of a nice, well-crafted introduction. Now the main part will usually depend on the type of speech you're presenting, but it could be simply put, it could be a succession of arguments or points you want to make and then supplied with various facts and figures and maybe additional examples or stories that can actually illustrate or support your key points. So one of the best ways to create the main part of the story is the so-called problem-solution structure. So first, you describe a problem, then you describe a solution to that problem, and ideally, of course, if you have the experience, show how that solution, once used on a certain example, on a certain company, on a certain individual, has actually produced good results. So problem, solution, and maybe specific real-life results. When the main part is over, here comes your conclusion. And again, how you end your speech is also very, very important. In fact, psychologists claim that the ending of any speech is probably the most memorable part of the speech. So my recommendation is, and it's probably the best way to end any speech, is try to actually repeat or recover or give sort of the round review of all the key points that were raised in the main part of your speech. I don't mean to literally repeat it word for word. Of course, better to use different words for that, but generally the audience needs to understand what is a key takeaway from the speech. Again, 2 or 3 main points repeated. And finally, end with a call for action. Because remember, From your introduction, through your main part, to your conclusion, you've been basically cooking that meal. You've been preparing your audience for something. And now, the audience, having taken all the pills, all the food, all the stuff that you gave to it, after internalizing all that information, they're ready for an action. So now they're ready to do something or think some way, but they don't know how. So you have to give them that prompt by literally saying something like, that's the reason I ask from all of you to complete the sentence, or that's why I recommend that you do complete the sentence. So give a powerful call for action. Never end your speech with, are there any questions in the audience? If you really need to ask for questions, ask in advance before you complete, before you conclude. The last words that the audience hear should be your words of conclusion. Okay, I hope that this short video talking about how to prepare a good structure for your speech has been helpful to you, and I guarantee if you use this piece of advice next time you prepare your speech, that speech will be more memorable, more attention grabbing, and of course more influential.